Good morning, Tuesday again. How's this week been? It's been a week of mixed weather. It's been raining and sunshine, and today it's actually quite sunny. It's a wonderful start to yet another week. 3 weeks today, and we'll be leaving Peterhead and we'll be going back to Romania. It's hard to believe that we've been here for 6 months already. But I'm grateful that God goes with us. I'm grateful that He travels with us in the car. Of course, I take so many pictures that most of you travel with us in the car. And so I try to post everywhere we stop. I try to take pictures of where we're going, our journeys, so that if you can't come with us in the car, at least you can come with us on Facebook. This month, I wanted to speak about servitude, about serving, the importance of serving. I've been reading a little bit about Esther, and I believe that she was almost the ultimate server. Esther was just a young girl. She was actually an orphan who was taken in by her uncle Mordecai. That was a bad and a sad start at the beginning. She didn't have parents, and she could have easily thought to herself how bad life had been to her. But instead of that, she was adopted by Mordecai, and he was a careful man. He took good care of her. And the opportunity came when the king, Xerxes, was having some problems, and we all know the story about his wife, and he sent for his wife to come and she wouldn't come. And that was taken as a big slap in his face because it meant that she was disobedient, which meant that none of the women would obey the men in the kingdom, because if the queen doesn't obey. But that opportunity opened for Esther. That gave her an opportunity into the king's kingdom. And we read this story, and it's a fantastic story if you haven't read it and become acquainted with it. And as Esther took her place in the preparation for being seen by the king, it took her a year. I can't believe that she had to wait for a year of preparation before the king sent for her. I'm sure during that year she must have wondered if she would ever be seen by the king. She had to gain his favor because many young virgins had been sent for so that the king's pleasure would be satisfied. But she waited for a year, being pampered every day. And as a woman, we would just think that's fantastic. But the problem was that she was a Jew and she was not in the right place as it appeared, and her life would be in danger if the king ever knew what her heritage was. But Esther wasn't caring. Esther was determined that she would help her people. And eventually the story goes that she was taken into the king's theatre, and he really loved her, into the palace. And he fell for her. But on the way, it says that how many people, everybody that she met, fell in love with her. Everybody that she met, she gained their confidence because she must have had a wonderful character. And she just paid her dues, and she just waited quietly, patiently, under the radar for the opportunity to please the king. Of course, the king sent for her, and then it was a wonderful story how Mordecai was sitting at the gate. He used to come every day, her uncle, into the king's gate to see that she was okay, that she was being treated well. Somehow they must have had a way to communicate that I'm doing okay, uncle. And here she was in the palace. And then what happened was Mordecai overheard a conversation. Mordecai was the right person in the right place at the right time. And he overheard the conversation that there was someone plotting to kill the king. And he conveyed that back to Esther. And Esther told the king. And what a wonderful thing. That was an opportunity for Mordecai to prove his worth as well. And of course, the rest is history. Esther was in the palace. The king fell in love with her. And of course, she gave out the decree because of Haman. Haman came, and it says in the Bible that there was no reason for Haman to be promoted the way he was. It just says that Haman was promoted. But Haman just had a thorn in the flesh. He hated Mordecai. And so Haman decided then that he would have Mordecai killed. But his plan backfired, as so many of our plans backfire. And of course, we all know that Haman ended up hanging on his own gallows. So many times we make plans and we think that this is going to be our life, and we never think for a moment that things can change. But things do change out with our control. But you know, God has everything planned. Finding that in our lives is not easy all the time. In fact, it's quite difficult submitting to the plan of God. And here was Esther. And she took her life in her own hands. It was not permitted for her to visit the king. But she went and she hovered at his doorway. And the king saw her and sent for her. And we all know the end of the story. She ended up, by her obedience and her serving, she ended up saving the Jews. Who would be in your line of saving today? Who are you managing in your life to hand out the scepter, to be able to be a help to them? Who are you serving today? You know, it's easy to be the boss. Everybody wants to be the boss, but nobody wants to serve. This morning, take a look around you. I have a frog in my throat today. Take a look around you. See who's in your basket for saving. See who you can serve. Maybe save the rest of your family. I want to encourage you today. Find someone. Serve. Be humble. Live in humility. God raises up. All that Esther had to do was be available. And all that we have to do is be available. God bless you.